Automobiles have advanced in numerous ways over the last century, with every aspect reinvented and reimagined to align with the ever-changing standards. As a result, some old features got phased out gradually due to safety concerns, designers butchered some, and others fell out of style. In this video, we will highlight 7 of the worst classic car features that changed the world. Make sure you stick with me to the end. Some of car history's biggest mistakes and pointless ideas that were once labeled features. Stories of trial and error fill most of modern car history. OEMs made countless mistakes and corrections to get us where we are now. Many terrible features were the result of cost-cutting government mandates or decisions made by a boardroom of suits that don't drive. There were features that made driving and car ownership worse, while others were pointless with no benefits or drawbacks. There are plenty of one-off honorable mentions, such as the 1984 Toyota van's built-in icemaker or VW's windshield washer fluid pump that ran off air pressure from the spare tire. This list can go on for ages and cover a broad range of categories, but for the purpose of this video, we will narrow it down to general trends instead of one-off designs, so here it is, these 7 worst classic car features that changed the world. The first on our list is the hood ornaments. Hood ornaments changed drastically in the first half of the 20th century. They then trickled out of style, and then suddenly they were gone. The concept began as a cover-up decoration as the radiator cap used to sit exposed on most cars front and center. Manufacturers saw this as an opportunity to turn a boring component into style. They topped the radiator caps with designs of miniature animals, cars, and logos. This became a staple of high-end luxury cars, making a bold statement in their design. Eventually, people started questioning the ornament's effects on drag and fuel mileage. Even worse, they became concerned about how well the ornament would function as a bayonet if they hit a pedestrian. Hood ornaments later stooped down to lower-class cars and became popular in the bling-style aftermarket. Much like any other fashion and design trends, its appeal died quickly once hood ornaments became mainstream. On top of all this, a hood ornament is the quickest and easiest target to vandalize any car. A combination of these items led to their downfall in the mainstream market, and they're a rare sight to see on any car today, usually because either the manufacturer didn't include one, or a thief swiped it already. The next on our list of worst classic car features is the vinyl rooftops. Let's not deny that vinyl rooftops have made some iconic classics stand out with a beautiful aesthetic. When manufacturers first added rooftops to cars, they were in fact vinyl tops, but these fell out of style in favor of steel as it is more immune to weather and wear, yet vinyl made a big comeback in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. It gave the appearance of a convertible car with the top up and completed the look with a dual color aesthetic. However, it took this second go around for people to realize that vinyl can't withstand weather like other materials. Vinyl tops open the door to rust spots and water leaks by trapping water in cracks and seams. You'll still see cars on the road with vinyl rooftops, but they are few and far between. Next on our list is the swivel seats. Who doesn't want to feel like they're in a captain's chair or in the office while they sit in their car? In the 50s through the 70s, Chrysler and GM were some of the largest producers of cars featuring seats that could spin around. Models like the Dodge Royal, Plymouth Fury, and Oldsmobile Cutlass allowed occupants to get in and out with ease and dignity. Some cars with more massive cabins allowed the front seats to turn a full 180 degrees. This way, the car occupants could all face each other in case they wanted to stop and hang out face to face in an awkwardly close space. There were downsides to this design though, as swivel seats come with more moving parts and thus more points of failure in a crash. Furthermore, the ability to spin a seat around within the cabin requires a lot of space, interfering with the overall design of the car's cabin and frame. In theory, swivel seats really aren't the worst. In practice, we just haven't found a way to make them safe and effective. The next worst classic car feature to look into is the fake aero. How do you make a car look faster without actually making it faster? Apparently you just add wings, scoops, and vents wherever you can. Many classics leaned hard into the B-movie rocket ship designs with long tail fins and pointy edges. Later, influence came from real race cars featuring effective aerodynamics. But once again, the OEM squandered the design. Take a close look at many sporty cars of the recent past, and you'll find wings that only create drag. as well as hood scoops and vents that are completely blocked off, so what's the point? Next is vacuum-operated anything. Somehow it took until just a couple of decades ago for some auto manufacturers to discover electricity. Until then, they utilized vacuum power to control some moving components. Old Corvettes relied on vacuum to operate their pop-up headlights, while the AMC Gremlin used it to move the windshield wipers back and forth. A few generations further back, other cars used a vacuum to roll windows up and down. One problem with this is that only a running engine creates the vacuum needed to run these components. If the car is not running, then you're out of luck. An even bigger problem was reliability. If you've ever had to diagnose a vacuum leak in a classic car, you've seen complications of this design. Vacuum components rely on rubber seals and hoses, all of which deteriorate and crack over time. If you're trying to bring a decades-old car back to life, don't bother trying to replicate just the bad vacuum lines. Replace it all and swap in electric motors wherever possible. What about the car alarms? What is the loudest sound that people ignore? 9 times out of 10, it's obnoxious car alarms. The manufacturers implement these with good intentions, but the outcome was less than helpful. False triggers are so commonplace that people won't even look when an alarm goes off. The 90s and 2000s excelled at creating the loudest and most annoying alarms. They featured sirens, beeps, and buzzers, as if mixing up the sound effects would draw more attention than a simple repeating horn. We've also had to deal with car alarm triggers differing from car to car and evolving over time. Did you lock the car with your key fob while the door was open, then shut the door? Did you accidentally pull the door handle before disarming the security system? Did you sneeze in the car's general direction? Thankfully, security systems are becoming smarter and easier to live with. Plus, built-in camera systems are helping to catch criminals instead of relying on noisemakers. Next up, driver aids. Yes, this feature recently made the list as one of the best classic car features, but this is a two-sided coin. There's no doubt that driver aids have evolved to save lives, with stats to prove it. However, there's a strong argument that driver aids are breeding worse drivers. The driving aids I'm talking about here are the awareness items. Manufacturers are removing the need for drivers to look around or be aware of their surroundings. Backup cameras remove the need to turn around and see what's behind you. Blind spot detection removes the need to look over your shoulder while you change lanes. Automatic braking lets you close your eyes and hope for the best when there's an impending crash. This all sounds great in theory, but it has led to drivers paying less attention to their surroundings. Backup cameras and blind spot detectors don't cover everything you can see with your eyes. And have a look at the automatic braking test videos, that is, if you're feeling confident about crossing the street without looking. As for lane keeping assist items, I'm ranting at this point, but if you can't keep a car between two lines, you should strongly consider public transportation. Wrapping it up, we have the bench seats. It's not a complete discussion about old car features if front bench seats are not included. Unlike modern bucket seats, these retro bench seats were akin to a couch, and they allowed for a bit of intimacy and proximity between the driver and front seat passenger. In addition, they offered extra space to squeeze in a third person. But for all the comfort and cheap manufacturing costs, bench seats were a safety hazard because automakers could not effectively fix the mandated seatbelts and airbags. Front bucket seats also afforded a center console that now houses storage, control features, and switches. That concludes today's video, my friends. If you found it helpful, then don't forget to give us a thumbs up and do subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.